Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from application Wifey1234 and it says, am I the arsehole here for not giving up my toy collection to sister-in-law's kids? I am 28 female and I grew up in poverty. My parents barely kept a roof on our head, fed us, but they gave me and my brother proper education. We won scholarships in private schools, but the things other kids had always left us in tears, as we couldn't afford it. We also faced mocking from rich relatives, cousins, and schoolmates. We promised to ourselves we will reach a level of success and won't let others mock us. I studied hard, cleared the bank exam at age of 22, and working as a manager in a bank with a six-figure check in my country. My elder brother is doing even better, working for an international MNC and making double compared to mine. Last year we both purchased duplexes in the same building, and though the mortgage is high, it is worth the investment and giving our parents good living conditions. He also married an angel, Rebecca, who herself works at a reputable job. I'm dating Jack, 30 male, and we just got engaged. He comes from upper middle class family and we're very different. He found my toy room weird for my age, because it is all those dream collections of toys that I wanted as a kid, ranging from teddy bears to Barbie dolls to remote cars to PlayStations. It is my holy grail. So he doesn't question it anymore. It even has vintage TV video games from Super Mario to others. His elder sister, Trisha, 38 female, and her two kids, 12 female and 10 male, visited my house with him. Trisha has always been passive-aggressive towards me, and I feel like she looks down upon my background, but has never been direct. I showed her around my duplex and she made comments ranging from my wall decoration to furniture. I let it go. When her kids saw my room, they asked me to let them play. I allowed them. The moment she started leaving, kids asked me to give them some of my car and doll collection and my vintage Super Mario. I refused. Jack and Trisha said to me that I'm old enough, which I'm going to assume it means too old, for all this, and give some of them to kids who are going to be my family. I still refused. She left in a hurry with her kids, who started crying after I refused. Jack and I had a huge fight afterwards. Note, we don't live together, but hang out together often at each other's places. He told me to grow up, and I told him that these collections are my childhood dreams, that I have and I'm never sharing it with anyone else besides my kids. I told him that when we marry, we'll gift to his family members on occasions, but these are my private collections and aren't up for discussion. Now he has given me the cold shoulder. I didn't mean to make the kids cry, but even as a kid, I was taught by my parents that not to demand things at other people's homes, even when we were poor. Rebecca is on my side too, but my brother says that I'm doing the same, like other kids did to us, including our cousins. But I don't see it as the same. Trisha and her husband are well-to-do. Also, we're meeting today and I will tell him the differences in our growing up and why these toys matter to me. I don't like to talk about my childhood much, but I hope this might open his eyes. Am I the arsehole here? Look, it doesn't matter what the item is in the end. They're yours, it's your collection. These items hold emotional value to you. That's all there is to it for me. You was kind enough to let them play with it while they was there, not take it. It's quite simple as that. And I would always side-eye someone who automatically starts coming out with, give the kids some of these items immediately because you're too old for them or whatever. And your brother's argument about you mocking the kids or flaunting wealth or whatever it was doesn't hold any weight either. They're simply your collection. My brother, he's a huge Star Wars fan. Collects all the Star Wars toys, the helmets, 3D prints, all sorts of stuff as well. You go in his house and it's just like glass cabinets full of Star Wars stuff. And I see that for what it is. My brother loves that and I love that for him. He's living his best life with his Star Wars stuff. And, you know, fair play to him. To absolutely stand your ground on this, but Blonde says, not the arsehole. You might need to rethink your relationship with boyfriend. I'm 56 and have a doll collection. My husband never told me to grow up or disrespected me over it. Jack and Trisha should know it's rude to ask another person for their things or collectibles, Besides, it's not 100% a certainty that those kids will be family now, is it? Opie says, yeah, today we're meeting. I'm going to open up my whole childhood to him, and how he won't get it because he was raised in upper middle class home. He isn't a bad person and very compassionate. Volunteers at an animal shelter, etc. I just don't like to open up about my childhood as it triggers my bad days, but it might be a game changer for our relationship. Darkness says, not the arsehole, but why do you want to be with someone who doesn't stand up for you when his family crosses boundaries and doesn't support what makes you happy? Eddie Snoot says, I would be afraid he would do something vindictive after marriage, like give them away or sell them. Something tells me he thinks that OP will give up the hobby after they're married and living together, like she won't be allowed to have it anymore. OP says, nah, I'm not a doormat, but I believe in working around the relationship. We are together for 2 years. This is the only time we fought like this. We'll discuss it, and if we don't reach common ground, then yes, I will end it, if he fails to understand it. So, after a while, OP came in with an update and said, so that day, I and Jack had a planned meeting. But sometime before our meet, he called me and he was very emotional. He apologized and said his mother, Riley, indeed put some sense inside his brain. He asked my permission to bring his mum and Trisha. I accepted it. When they arrived, Riley, the mum, simply asked me to narrate the whole thing. I told her everything about how Trisha and her kids demanded my toys. I told her about the sentimental value of those toys. I told her about the passive-aggressive comments of Trisha and how I felt Jack never supported me. Trisha tried to shout, but her mother stopped her and gave them a verbal lashing to both Jack and Trisha for the next few minutes. I wish I could be so confrontational. She told Trisha to discipline her kids and told her that I'm going to be a sister-in-law and she needs to change her ways if she ever wants a relationship in the future, because I'm going to be family and the mum's daughter-in-law. Jack was emotional and apologized. He said he realized now the importance of all this. I told him I might forgive him but not forget this. He asked me for a chance, so we are going to therapy. Riley told him that I'm a wonderful person and he should learn to value me more. Jack also told Trisha that her hateful comments won't pass again and that if he ever sees her putting me down, he will break contact with her. Trisha apologized, but I could see it wasn't from the heart. I told her we need a break and I won't allow her and her kids at my home for some time. After that, Riley ended it, and she and Trisha left. I and Riley were always nice to each other but not close. This incident has brought us close and we talked even today on a call for 30 minutes. Jack is staying with me and has apologized a lot since. We have booked couples therapy and the wedding plan is still on. Thanks everyone for the feedback. I know many told me to break up and I appreciate it. Jack has been wonderful to me in many other ways. This was a road bump which we overcame. And I believe in working around the relationship. Still, I respect all the feedback. Take care. Numerous says, it's great that your mother-in-law supports you 100%, but I don't know about Trisha. If she comes back to your house with her children, put your collection under lock and key if that's possible. You're not safe from one of the 2 children trying to steal something from you. And given Trisha's behavior, she'd be capable of saying nothing about it. Opie says I have locks on every door and she isn't entering it anytime soon. We'll even install a camera there. Apprehensive Steak says, none of this matters because you will never be able to trust Jack. You should walk away from this family. They do not deserve you. Opie says, I won't let one incident affect 2 years of relationship where he helped me, my family, in many ways, which are irrelevant to this topic. He surely would have to earn my trust back, but I love him and we're starting the process. Early the Grizzly Bear says, I was raised the same way and like you, now I have plenty of toys. People who threatened my stuff were kicked out of my place. Therapy is great, but I'd have a lot of trust issues after that. There's also a need of safety feeling in your own place. I really hope for you that he's not lying about pretending to now finally understand to just make the wedding still happen. When are you supposed to get married? You plan to get another place together after getting married? Is he okay with you still buying and having all those things afterwards? I'm asking because I have so many friends whose husband/boyfriend complain after they buy anything for themselves they did not approve, even if finances are separate. It's taking too much space, blah blah blah. Please give some attention to those details in the future. Opie says we're supposed to marry in December. who live nearby and shift either at mine or his house. I will never be a doormat, and even if he's pulling an act, which I don't think he is, I will never let him walk over me. It's always a relief in these stories when you get to the end and the mother-in-law hasn't acted crazy in the situation. They've actually held it together and backed up OP. It's very refreshing to see. There were some comments like some of those saying, how do you trust him again, etc. Now, I always struggle with that sort of thing myself when I'm reading these stories. And is he going to change after just one ear lashing from his mum? And then you got the sister-in-law who doesn't really seem sorry about the situation at all. However, it does sound like OP will back themselves up if anything does go awry. But what do you guys make of this situation? How would you deal with it if it was you? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Jolly Information 385 and says, "Am I the arsehole for leaving my boyfriend after finding another woman in our bed?" So I, 26 female, am going on a trip to London with my sister today. I've been staying with her since yesterday because she lives close to the airport. I realized I forgot my passport at my apartment, where my boyfriend, 27 male, and I live together, and I had to go back and get it. So I did. I texted him this morning to let him know I was coming back to get my passport, but he didn't respond. When I got there, he looked really antsy and suspicious. I went into our bedroom and found a woman I don't recognize lying in our bed, fully clothed. I just went on autopilot, grabbed my passport, told him we're over, and left. Now my boyfriend is blowing up my phone saying that the woman is his longtime friend and that she's a lesbian who just needed a place to crash for the night. I didn't believe him because he never mentioned anything about her staying over while I was gone, and the whole situation feels off. He's saying I'm making a huge mistake and that he's telling the truth, but honestly, I'm just really hurt and confused. He's begging for me to hear him out and apologizing, but this whole situation is not right. So am I the arsehole for leaving him? Should I believe his explanation, or is my gut telling me the truth? We just signed the lease 2 months ago, and I'm literally leaving the country today. So it's a horrible and stressful situation. Self Psycho says to OP, questions. Is this the straw that broke the camel's back? Even if she is a lesbian, would him not mentioning it just be another thing on the list? Looking at your previous post, it seems it's not the only issue you have as a couple. The real thing to ask yourself is, are the good things worth it? Whether it was genuinely just miscommunication or not the arsehole, depending on other issues. OP says, him not mentioning it was a deal breaker for me, because we agreed to not have guests without telling each other beforehand. We established this as a boundary while living together. We struggled emotionally during the moving process because he was stubborn and I was a pushover and didn't advocate for my own needs, seen in my previous post. I chalked it up to moving stress. Other than that, he's been a good partner, and I haven't had any reason to believe he's cheating. I feel very blindsided. Beach Not Broken says, he's banking on you continuing to be a pushover. Get a number and tell her you want to meet her. If she's his platonic friend, she will also want to sort this out for her friend. Nature's Vivid Pictures says, not the arsehole. Wow, the moment you leave, huh? Not really. You hadn't even left yet. Well, if you happen to know her name, you could always look at her social media. You'll know really quick if she's a lesbian or bi. But either way, pretty weird, and I wouldn't be believing him at all. Opie says, after I left, I asked him for her Instagram or phone number. I've been demanding her contact info for hours and he still won't give it to me. I want to hear her side of things, and he claims she has a girlfriend, so I think her girlfriend deserves to know as well. Dear Love Me says, so are you going to believe the woman who sneaked into your bed? Opie says no, which is why I'm notifying her girlfriend. Omni says, I mean, she needed a place to stay. Was the couch not sufficient? I'd be pissed if it was 2 dudes or 2 women, whatever. That's our bed. I wouldn't want anyone else in it. Opie says we have a pull-out couch, so it's definitely sufficient enough. Whole Willingness says, you're not wrong to be mad. I don't buy the BS of it being a lesbian friend either, but the fact that he was hiding it is in itself bad. Leave his ass. Opie says, honestly, I feel bad for her. He sent me screenshots of their texts, and it seems like she was under the impression he had my permission for guests. I think he put her in a dangerous situation by not telling me and letting me walk in on her in bed. I feel like other people in my situation might have screamed at her or even tried to hurt her. I literally had my palm on my forehead when I was reading he came out straight away that she's a lesbian. I was like, oh, dearie me, mate. Just bloody admit it, you Burke. And, hiding her coming over in the first place if she was legit, It just says it all really, doesn't it? I really like the way that OP dealt with it though when they opened the door and saw her there and just grabbed the passport and just went, we're over. See ya. Straight back out the door. London's calling me. I'm out. But then in the comments with answers, OP said that he won't hand over any of the information so OP can get in contact with her to reassure her. It says it all really, doesn't it? But OP did come back in with an update and says, I've never updated a Reddit post before, so I hope I'm doing this right. I went to London with my sister. I told my ex I wouldn't be speaking to him and I enjoyed our girls' trip. As soon as I returned to the USA, I went and got tested for STIs and turns out he gave me chlamydia. I'm being treated for it now, but I'm going to see the gynecologist soon because I'm not sure how long I've had it. I'm asymptomatic. I last tested negative for STIs in July 2023, right before I started seeing my ex. He's the only person I've been with since then, so he obviously gave it to me. I'm worried he's had it this entire time, and so have I. But I'm trying not to overthink the cheating/timeline of the chlamydia. I want to focus on my health. He never admitted to cheating. We're still broken up and I don't plan on going back to him, since we just signed a brand new lease back in February. We're discussing what to do about the apartment. I've been staying with my sister since we got back, so I'm thankfully not stuck in the apartment without a support system. I really appreciate everyone's advice. I've never been in this situation before. I was embarrassed to tell my family at first, so I went to strangers on the internet. I probably won't update this post again since there isn't much else to say. Thank you all for helping validate my confidence to leave him. Short and sweet and concluded in the end. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. There is no update on this one, just to give you that warning. It's from Triple Digit Man, who says, Am I the arsehole for not letting my neighbor's kid ruin my lawn in the name of imagination? I live in a quiet suburban neighborhood with your standard backyard. Some grass, a few old trees, a weathered shed. Nothing fancy, but I try to keep it tidy. I'm on polite but not close terms with most neighbors. We wave, sometimes chat about the weather, and that's about it. There's a family 2 doors down with a boy who's maybe 9 or 10. Lately, he's gone full pirate mode. I mean fully committed, eye patch, cardboard sword, yelling, "Ye be cursed" at squirrels. Honestly, pretty wholesome. At first. Then I started noticing small holes in my yard. Just little ones near the fence. I assumed it was raccoons, but then the holes got bigger. One morning I went out and found the ground behind my shed completely torn up, with clumps of grass tossed around and a map pinned to the tree with a stick. Eventually I caught him out there mid-dig. I asked him what he was doing and he straight up said, "I'm hiding me treasure." Don't know why I did the pirate voice. "I'm hiding my treasure. No one must know. This is the perfect hiding spot." I told him calmly, "Hey, this is my yard. You can't dig here." He got a little huffy but ran off. I figured that was the end of it. Nope. Next day, there's a new hole. Bigger. A tin lunchbox half buried behind the shed. I dig it up and it's full of Pokemon cards, fake jewels, toy coins, and a few crumpled $5 bills. I bring it to his mum and explain what's going on. She immediately gets defensive. No apology, just a heavy sigh and a, well, he's just using his imagination. I think it's sweet. I told her I didn't mind the creativity, just not in my yard. She rolled her eyes and said, "Can't you just let him have this? It's not like your grass is that nice anyway." That one actually stunned me. I said as politely as possible that I didn't want holes being dug on my property by someone else's kid. I handed over the box and left. That night, she sends a long text telling me I humiliated her son, crushed his imagination, and created an environment where children can't feel safe being children. She said he cried for over an hour and now thinks I'm the villain in this story. Her words. I didn't reply. I get it. He's a kid. I didn't yell, I didn't shame him, and I even gave the stuff back. But I'm not thrilled about my yard being turned into a sandbox and getting insulted for not being okay with it. So, am I the arsehole for drawing a line and not entertaining a pirate storyline that involved my yard getting wrecked? I mean, this did make me chuckle, I have to say. It sounded pretty wholesome at the start. Kid running around with a pirate patch on brought me straight back to my youth. I kind of felt like I'd have been straight out there and been, "Arr, young buccaneer, this be private waters you be digging in. Now sod off." Probably wouldn't say that, but I know what I kept that treasure to. Pokemon cards and jewels. I'm like a crow. But wholesomeness aside, you didn't crush his imagination. You just said you don't want him digging on your property, which is absolutely fine. I mean, for one, why isn't he digging on his own property? Probably because, his parents don't want holes all over their yard as well. And the mum making comments about your grass not being that nice anyway is completely irrelevant and completely unnecessary. This is about her teaching her kid how to respect other people's property. It's as simple as that. But someone you don't know says not the arsehole. His mum needs to teach him to respect others' property. You don't get to do whatever the hell you want as a kid in the name of using your imagination. Maybe he should use his imagination to pretend that he buried his treasure in your yard while actually leaving it intact. I think that would be more constructive use of it. His mum is on the hook for teaching her kid to channel his creative impulses into productive endeavors, not destructive ones. When he grows up unable to properly establish relationships, he'll realize that his problems stem from the fact that he was never taught to respect others. When that time comes, he'll see that his mum is the actual villain in his story. Savings Rhubarb says not the arsehole, of course. I and the other children I played with had the run of our neighborhood, except for the yards that did not belong to the family of one of the children in the group. We exercised our imaginations daily. I don't say we didn't trespass occasionally, although I'm sure we never dug holes while trespassing. But if any mention of our presence where we shouldn't have been got back to our parents, they would have reprimanded us, not the neighbors. If we'd done any damage at all, we'd have gotten the blame and would never have offended in that way again. Children are entirely capable of imaginative play that is not on anyone else's property, and certainly not involving doing any damage. But now, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm going to be talking or trying to talk pirate all day today, I think. Just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.